Hello everyone, I represent Olabams Creations and today I want to show us a very quick and short tutorial, and that is how to cut and sew a kaftan. This is going to be a kaftan with sleeve. I'll be showing us how to make a kimono kaftan at another time, as they all follow the same principle save for some minor differences. I'm going to be using the basic foundation we have on drafting a basic bodice to do this. The first thing to consider when drafting a kaftan is to determine the dress length, which in this case is 61 inches. I added 2 inches as my bending allowance at the hem, so I have 63 inches altogether. And what I did was to measure 63 inches twice and I cut it out. I want to be economical with the cloth, so what I'm going to be doing now is to measure out the wideness I'll be needing, so as to ensure that what is left is a whole piece and not in pieces. To measure out the wideness, I'll be considering the largest part of our body, which is our hips. Our hips is 44. To that 44, I will add 8 inches. 4 inches will serve as his allowance, while the remaining 4 inches will serve as the seam allowance, like we normally do with our butterfly gown. You know, this dress does not have a zip, so we need to add some room allowance to be able to wear it. That means I will now be dividing that 52 inches by 2 to give me 26. That's for the front and the back. I will have 26 inches at the front and I will have 26 inches at the back. Agreed that 52 divided by 2 is 26. You know, this cloth is folded into 2, and mind you, because it's a kaftan, I won't be marking on the right side. I'll be marking on the wrong side of the fabric, so I need 26 inches wideness. I'll measure 26 inches. Let me just make it 26 and a half, just to, or 27, just to be on the safer side. So I'll measure this round and cut it out. Look at what we have left. If I had folded it into 2, I will now have 2 pieces, but I don't want to have it in pieces, so that's why I just measured it out. So this part, I'll be able to get a sleeve and do my facing and still get airtime. Although from this whole length I still have a little she wants to use it for a baby. Let's keep this aside. This is the whole wideness we'll be needing. So look at what I did. I have taken it to the ironing table. I folded along the width. You know, I measured 27 inches, so I folded it along the width. Then I folded along the length. For our length measurement, we need our shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist. I'm not adding any half inches here because there is no cut at the shoulder. Our shoulder to hips is 25. Then here is the full length of the fabric. Remember, my marking is being done on the wrong side of the fabric. So let's come to the shoulder line here. Our shoulder is 8 inches. Let me add half an inch because it's a kind of free gown. Then that half an inch, I'm going to use it to join it because it's a kind of free dress. Our chest line is around 8.5 thereabout, but I want it to be a bit free. Let's use 9.5 here for our chest line. On our chest line, you know, I measured 8.5 inches here on the shoulder. I'll equally measure another 8.5 inches here and I'll connect to the shoulder. Let's just measure our bust here. Our bust is 39. We just round it up to 40 since it's a free dress. 40 divided by 4 will give us 10. Then I'm going to be adding 2 inches to it. That's 1 inch for ease, 1 inch for seam allowance. And on the bust line, I will equally mark 12 inches. Our waist is 34. 34 divided by 4 will give us 8.5. 8.5 plus 2 inches will give us 10.5. So our hips is 44. 44 divided by 4 will give us 11. 11 plus 2 inches will give us 13 inches. So I'll be marking 13 inches here. I will carry that 13 inches all through to the hem. And you know, on this hem, we don't want this kaftan to be snug on her. So I'll be putting a kind of slit at the side. So let's just put a slit of about 15 inches. I'm going to be notching it here. This is where we want our slit to be. I'm trying to connect the markings together. Can you see the marking? So this is just like we are cutting our basic bodice. Now, that is all we have to do for the side. Now we move on to the neck one. For the width, I'm going to be doing 3.5 inches. For the depth, let's do 7 inches because she doesn't really like a choky neck. I will connect from that 7 inches to the neck width. I'm not really going to cut anything from the back. As good as done. Then we need to cut out the facing. It's just going to be a straight sleeve. We have a tutorial on how to cut a basic sleeve on the channel. I'm trying to cut out the facing and I'm making use of the pieces that is left from the side the other time. I'm going to be cutting out the facing now. And because the cloth is somehow slippery, that's why I decided to place an office pin there. So I'll now decide on how long I want the facing to be. So let's just do like 5 here. There's no other than fast rule here. Just do it as you like. That's the facing that I'm trying to cut out, and we are done cutting the facing. I'm going to be adding a light interface to this facing, then we'll meet in the sewing room. Please ensure to like, share and subscribe to my channel. It's a way of encouraging me. Here is the facing. So as you can see, I interfaced it with a paper stay. So I'm going, and here is the right side of the kaftan. So I have the center here. I'm going to be placing the center of my facing on it. And to be on, you know, I didn't cut the neck. So to be on the safer side, I'm going to be holding it down with pin. So I'm going to sew round. So I'm done sewing round. Then I will now notch it. I will snipe it just a little bit. I will not allow it to touch the thread. I snipe at the corner. You have to be very careful. So I'm done snapping it. I will now turn to the wrong side. You can even top stitch on it. So, look at what I did. I made sure that this part is facing up to the lining is facing down, and then I will now top stitch and make sure that my top stitching is on the lining, is on the facing. Gentle about it. How many minutes? Okay, so I'm done top stitching. Then I've gone to give it a good press. You can see how neat it is. So I'll still use a steam iron to press it down very well. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bring out the shaping. I will shape it at the side and then fix the sleeve. There are two ways in which you can fix the sleeve. It's either you fix the sleeve and then you join it at the side, or you join it at the side before fixing the zip. Whichever way is convenient for you. Just do whatever is convenient for you. I think I'm more accustomed to joining the side before adding the sleeve. So let's go. So I'm trying to join the done joining at the side. Remember, I left a little gap of about 15 inches. By the time I hem it with 2 inches at the bottom part here, I'll be left with about 13 inches, which is still fine. So I did that on both sides. I cut off the thread. I'll do the hemming, fix the sleeve, and come back to show you the final outcome. Like I said, I'm going to be adding a basic sleeve to it, and I have a tutorial on how to draft a basic sleeve on the channel.